There we go. Hello, hello, hello. We're going to turn the music down a little bit so it's not overpowering. Hopefully, as long as the music is still playing. It is fantastic. Hello. So, welcome to the little stream that I'm doing for opening my box opening review of Crossroads Ancient Sagas. This is a game that has been made by Danheim, the person behind the music that is also playing today. It is a CCG, card collecting game that is currently themed on Vikings or Norse mythology and Norse history. It is a turn-based game, so what I have done is I have placed an order off my own back. This is not sponsored in any way, shape or form. I have ordered this myself out of my own pocket. What we've ordered is the starter kit, which we will hopefully see inside here, which includes a board, some counters, and a deck of cards that will allow you to have 2 decks of 30 cards for 2 players, as this is a 2-player game. I've also ordered 2 additional starter decks, which are starter decks in their own right, so we can see what cards are pulled out of there. And then I believe, if I remember correctly, I have ordered 8 booster packs. In order to order, there's a website called the Game Crafter, but if you go onto a website that is it is ancientsagas.com, you will be able to purchase the game from there directly. So that'll be the place to go buy the game if you're interested after taking a little bit of a look. In this deck, there are currently 50 cards for the total deck completion. All cards have a foil variant, apart from the gold card, if I am correct. I was hoping someone maybe here, if that's a moderator or game creator, that may have been able to clarify that, but from what I know and have looked into so far, that seems to be the case. All I have done with my package so far is I have taken off the label and I've cut the sides, but as you can see, it is still fully sealed. I have not opened the package in any way. Just didn't want anyone to say that I've then gone through the box. We're doing this completely blind for a full review. But before I do open the box, what I will be doing is I am going to do a little comparison to some cards that I opened in my test stream, which were Weiss Schwarz, the Avatar anime series cards. I've just grabbed a bunch from the top. These are their foil cards, and you can see the effect, but some of the cards, even though they're foil, you can't tell that they're foil unless you get the right angle of light, and the picture quality is not that great on a lot of these cards. A lot of them feel matte and kind of not as good as some of the other cards. There's just a bog standard card. It just feels like some of the images are taken. They've taken screenshots from the show and just blown them up to make pictures. So I wanted to do a comparison of that versus some of the actual cards that we're going to see in this box today. So welcome in, trusty box opening knife, don't worry. But if you have any questions or queries along the way, please do let me know. Hello, hello, I don't know who we have here. If you've come from Folk Realms, hello and welcome, thank you for joining. If you're just popping by, as I say, this is just completely a unboxing, review, card opening, you name it, all in one for something that I have a big interest in, which is Norse mythology, Vikings and stuff. So we'll just try and make sure the zoom, there we go, comes back onto the box. So first of all, we will slice into this, being careful not to damage anything. That's why I did pre-cut the sides, so it would make life easier for getting into the box. So as you can see, nice packed, nice and tight, which is always a good sign. And here we go. Here is the box set that we've got. So, we go. So we've got a little starter deck. This one feels like it's the 60 card starter deck. And the only reason I say that is because we've got 2 more starter decks here, all of which are completely random. We're going to move it away from the light a second. And as you can see, they are a lot thinner, so those should be the 2 30 card decks that we can look into. Nicely packaged and sealed as well. Put those to one side. Now let's see, what do we have here? We've got some foil packs, but it does look like there may have been a printing issue for the foil, because a lot of the coating is coming off on these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, we did get all 8, so that is good. Try and see if there's a nice clean-ish looking one. That one's a little bit nicer, but it looks like there may have been a bit of a printing issue. That's not anything to do with Danheim himself. This will just be from where they create it. I did initially make an order, but unfortunately they were doing mass printing for another item, and it was causing bulk jobs to take a lot longer. So if you ordered more than 10 items, it was going to take an eternity to be delivered to you. Let's take that out. Put it on the floor, out of the way. But yeah, so that was the scenario with that, hence why it took a little bit longer than anticipated to arrive. And here we have, at the bottom of the box, there should be nothing else in here, so we can pack this all away. We've got the board and the counters for the game. Let's just try and clear the desk up. Hope you can hear me well, hope the audio is all good. Let's get this all down here, out of the way. So let's take a look at what we have in this pack as well. Take it all out. As I say, hopefully it's just the foil packs that were slightly damaged. I'm just hoping nothing else has been damaged in transit. This bag is being a slight pain to get the board out of. Just ever so slightly too small, but there we go. There, we can get it out without damaging it. So, as I say, for a game for 2 people, we have some counters. Each person would take a colour counter and they would be able to place it on the board. We'll get a little bit into the game mechanics a little bit later on in the video. But first of all, let's just take a bit of a look. We'll move everything just off to one side so we can get everything in shot as best as we possibly can. So it's nice to know that the board actually folds up as well, so it's a nice foldable board. Ooh. Additional paper. There we go. So unfortunately I don't have the desk space to show the whole board off, but we will certainly try our best. But this is a very nice looking board, obviously designed in a way that it can be folded so it can be used as a travel game, so you can play with your friends. But the game board would sit initially in this orientation, and this is your battlefield where you would then play cards against each other. The game mechanics are very, very similar to Magic the Gathering, where, or even Pokemon, where you have to have energy or mana. In this case, it's gold. You pay gold to summon your selected creature onto the battlefield. Once per turn, you may summon a creature and also use an ability, but you can only summon 1 creature per turn, which is fine. But the idea is, if you were to play a card, you could play it anywhere on the battlefield that you like, and any card that you own, you would put a counter from the counter bag on top of it to say that it is your card. The idea of the battle would be if your opponent then puts a card directly next to it. You may have seen from my posts that the cards have an attack value on each of the ordinal sides, which if the number is higher, so say for example there's a 1 on attack and the card you put against it has a 2, the 2 would take it and you would just take your opponent's counter off and put your counter on, and then you would have control of that as well. If the numbers are tied, then it's a stalemate. They don't counter each other in any way, shape or form. Now, as I say, the board is very, very nice and foldable as well, as again, which is always good for a game, because to have it in a handy travel size, allowing you just to slip it into a bag, is actually fantastic. I actually really like that idea. And it allows extra space around you to be able to place your cards, and you can solely control the battlefield. Again, with the size of the board as well, from just a glimpse there, you did see that there is enough of an area to place some cards down on the side as well, if you would want to. It depends on obviously your play structure and your play size. Again, that's completely up to you, not up to how anyone else plays the game. So that's absolutely fantastic. So we will just quickly make sure we've got this folded up properly. We don't want to damage it. There we go. So that can be put to one side out of the way. And what we will do is we will take a look next at the starter decks. Let's just get the camera to focus. No, not quite, but that'll do. So what we'll do is just open these up ever so slightly so we can get into them. Hello, hello. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining. We're just opening some of the boxes and trying to be as careful as we possibly can for the Viking set. If you've just missed it, I have just done a little review on the actual board itself. I don't have a lot of space on my desk to do a proper review. Once I finish the stream, I'll likely take photos and upload the photos of all the items together as well. But yeah, we're gonna just, there we go. Glad to hear you're okay. Hopefully the audio is good, you can hear the music fine. It's not overpowering against my voice, or if I'm too loud I can turn me down, turn the music up if you prefer. But what we'll do, we'll put those two to one side to start with, and we'll open the starter set kit as well to finish off the starter set. Now, as I say, all the cards that you get within each starter set and booster pack, they are completely random. There's no way of knowing exactly what you're going to get. Thank you very much for letting me know the sound is good. So, as I say, there are 50 cards in total. Do love that there is you're actually given a little box to get into them. So we'll open the box without damaging it in some way, shape or form. I've never been good at opening boxes. I always end up somehow damaging them. There we go. Just a little bit of a slightly different pull. And it opens up in a nice little manner as well. That's really cool. I like that. Oh, and there's a QR code in here for scanning to get the rulebook, which is very good, because at the moment you do not get a copy of the rulebook. It is all available on the website, ancientsagas.com. There is a Discord as well that you can get information on. But yeah, everything's on the website, but there you go. As it says, you can scan as well. Now, this is the 60 deck, which allows for 2 30 card decks for starting the game. So we'll have a little look at some of the cards that we get. And we'll see if we get all 50. You never know, we've got enough cards here to be able to do so. So we've got our common cards, which we've got a Field of Mushrooms, a Field of Thistles. I'm not going to lie, the the way that the cards feel a lot better than these Weiss Schwarz ones. These ones feel a little bit too thick and heavy, whereas these ones feel a lot lighter, which is good because it just means that they play a little bit better. They move a lot smoother off the hands. So we've got Field of Thistles, a Raiding Party for common. We've got the Mead Hall Misstep. I should probably bring these up a little bit closer so you guys can see them as well. In fact, we'll do that. We'll redo that so you can see all the cards in a bit of a nicer view. And you know what type of card it is just because of this little band here. Each colour means a different thing, but also in the bottom corner down here, well, I say corner, at the very bottom next to one of the attacking values, you do also have the number of the card and also what that card means. So this is a common card. So that is absolutely fantastic. So I say what I was about to do was going to show you all the cards individually and then decided to move my hand back as well, back to normal positions for doing things off camera. So got a Raiding Party, Field of Mushrooms, Field of Thistles, the Mead Hall Misstep. That's one of our duplicates of Field of Thistles, Mead Hall Misstep, Field of Mushrooms. What we're looking for here to try and see is if we get any of the foil cards at the same time. We never know. Hoof to Helmet. Hoof to Helmet. I think this might be lucky here. The Nordic Viper. We've got 2 Nordic Vipers. Well, absolutely. I would suggest looking into it. As I say, there is the website. I can post a link shortly when I get my keyboard back out, just so you can go to the website. As I say, it's just ancientsagas.com, and that should get you to the website that houses all the cards. If you check out my Instagram, which is elemental_beard, all the cards have been posted on there as well. I did a review of all the cards from the website, uploaded them, of course, from there. So certainly worth taking a look. So we've got another, put it there, Mead Hall Misstep, Raiding Party, Field of Mushrooms. We've got a Plague Village, Forest Troll, another Forest Troll, a Sindri the Smith, Blood Eagle. So we're now looking at some of our uncommon cards. Forest Troll, Muspelheim Moor. Let's get these. Oh, Blood Eagle, Forest Troll, that's a third. Oh, we've got a Berserker, which to me, I think is one of the best uncommon cards that you can get. A good all-rounder for everything that you would want to do. Sindri the Smith, a Berserker. We've got a lot of Forest Trolls here. Did we put a Blood Eagle over here? I think we did. Yep, we did. That's fine. Just going to separate them all out. Muspelheim Moor. Ratoska. So we're now starting to get into our rare cards. Fenrir. Gungeir. Bogdrauga. Asserter. Ooh, now an ability card of Trickery of Loki. Let's bring that up a little bit more. So ability cards are very similar to enchantments and trap cards also, kind of thing, depending on if you've played other variants of card games. Oh, we got our first legendary card of God, excuse me, of Hermond. No, I thought that was a shiny there, so I'll just move back. We've got the Fig, another Hermond. We have Freya. Now, some of these cards, they have abilities on them, so we'll go through those in a second. And I think the rest of these cards, if I'm not mistaken, should all be gold, which is what you use to play the cards. Each card has a cost value to play. Just put these back. So we'll go through a couple of these cards here for now. And each card has a different cost to summon it. So this cost, the Muspelheim's Maw would cost 4 gold, so you would have to tap 4 gold cards in order to play it. The Forest Troll would be a free. Field Mushrooms, the Raiding Party is only a 1 gold cost, so a very, very cheap card to play. But you have to bear in mind it has 2 areas of attack that are 0, which means it can be very easily captured by your opponent. A 1 and a 2, so it has a little bit of attack power, but not a lot. So a good card for overwhelming the board, but also very quick to be recaptured. But when you're building a deck, your deck size must be consistent of 30 to 60 cards, and you are allowed to have up to 4 cards of each type, with the exception of gold. You can have more gold cards than that because some of the cards do cost more than 4. As you saw before, we have this little pile over here. Hermod costs 6, so you would need more than 4 gold to play. And he has a special ability. Not only does he have a very well-rounded attack value of 4 on each side, but when he enters the battlefield, you may immediately place a common attack card from your hand into an adjacent empty tile without paying the gold of that cost of that card. So that simply means if we find a quick common card, which in this instance would be, there we go, we'll use Field of Mushrooms. So say for example on the board you'd pay your 6 cost to play this card. If there was an empty tile adjacent to it, so any one of the sides next to it, you could play Field of Mushrooms because it is a common attack card for absolutely nothing. You could instantly, as long as it was in your hand, play that straight out onto the battlefield, which is a fantastic way to look at things. So we've got quite a few cards there. These are all the duplicates that we did get. But what I'm going to do is we'll go through the individual decks to a certain extent, because I will be making my own deck as well, and we'll be sleeving them up. So we know we've got a good set of cards there, and I do still have to get through, after we do an opening of all the decks, 8 booster packs to go through as well, which, if I remember correctly, there's about 10 to 15 cards in each one of those packs. So that's a nice little amount to get through. Hopefully you're keeping up and following. If there's anything that you would like me to touch upon or talk about, please let me know. As I say, we do have a set of counters that come inside of each individual set. I think it's 15 counters for each side, for each colour, so you would get to decide. In a previous stream, I did allude to the fact that I'm planning on putting my decks in a nice little box, a Mage Tech box. If I find a spare card that I don't need, I'm just going to put it in there so it'll show the Crossroads logo from the back of the cards. But inside my deck, I'm doing things ever so slightly differently, where I'm going to be, instead of using the blue or red counters, I'm going to be sleeving everything in a purple. And then I have got myself some purple counters to go with it. So again, to signify that I am playing purple, I will be using slightly smaller counters than the one that are there, but again, these are just tokens that you place on the card to show who owns the card at the end of the day, so it's not urgent. But you also have to decide who is going to play first. So I purchased online some replica Viking style coins. Now, I'm not saying that these are correct in any way, shape or form. There might be incorrect details on them, but there we go. If it's going to focus on it, there you go. So I have purchased these for myself to do this. I do have another box set to one side for the starting decks as well, because what I would like to do is I will set up my own personal deck, but I will also use some of the cards to create 2 other decks for the game purposes, for starting from scratch. And I probably will, and I'm likely to use these 2 decks to do so, hence why I would like to keep everything back in their own boxes, because then I can make a decision as to what card goes where and what we need to do with it in order to make a deck. So first things first, we'll just move that one out of the way, and we'll open the first set of 30 to see what we get inside of here. I know this might not be an interesting topic for everyone, because it's not a game that everyone is aware of that exists, but I think it's interesting, and it's something slightly different to what it is already out there, because it plays differently as well. There was a very short time ago an open beta to, or alpha to, the online version of the game, but because of Steam restrictions and regulations, the game couldn't go up because of promotion of the physical game itself. So sadly it's been paused for now, but I think it would be worthwhile just one day seeing if that can come back to life, because I reckon an online version would be a great way to teach people about the game and get them interested in buying a physical copy as well. Not just to have the cards, but to play against people. As the game is so small, it's very hard to find people to play this game with to gather interest. So I'm currently looking at speaking to some shops nearby where I live to see if they'd be willing to do so. There's not that many card shops like this in the UK that teach people new games and stuff, but there's one somewhere near where I am that should hopefully allow it, so we'll go from there. So let's have a look to see what cards we've got in this deck. Let's get the orientation correctly. Got Nordic Viper, Meadhall Misstep, Field of Thistles, Village Pig, that's a new card that we haven't seen yet today. And we've got 2 of them, which is cool. Nordic Viper. Oh, we've got a few Nordic Vipers. Hopefully we don't have more than 4 in here. Field of Thistles, Sindri the Smith, Forest Troll, back to that Berserker, another new card, the Frostfallen Fate, Berserker, Muspelheim's Moor. Reminds me very similar to the scene in Vikings towards the end of the series, where Floki is in Iceland and he goes into the volcano and it erupts, kind of thing. So that's how that feels. We've got a Bog Draugr. Now this is a rare card and another new one. Jormungandr, one of the children of Loki. I always struggle to pronounce him. For a 4 gold cost card, this is a very good card to pull and to play, especially if you play it at the back ranks, or if you already control the bottom half of the board or your side of the board. Having this on your side or anywhere near something that you fully control, this has got a good attack value, so it's worth definitely putting in a deck, in my opinion. Ratauska. We've got the Freya. We've got a Tyr. So again, another new legendary card. And then the rest of these should all be gold again. Yeah, they are. Which is cool. So as I say, there's quite a few cards in here that we didn't get in the other set. I want the other deck to be similar, but also I don't. just because what I would like is there to be differences within the decks, so that if you play, the cards are structured differently, and you'll get a different play style depending on what card you draw. So let's open up the next one and see what we've got, and then we shall be looking at the booster packs. We'll get into that, but as I say, any questions or anything, please feel free to ask. Just trying to be gentle. There we go. It's the only thing about these types of boxes, the catch sometimes just really sticks and you can rip the box very easily. That's why I'm planning on moving them into something different, just for safety and sanity, really. So here we go. And again, look at the quality of the cards on the back and the design that's gone into these. I feel that these are so nice in, like I say, they feel nice and light, but also durable at the same time. They don't feel as heavy as other cards that I've played. They don't feel too loose. So, oh, there we go. Brand new card. Barren Grounds. Field of Thistles. A very common card, it seems, along with Field of Mushrooms. I mean, they do say common on them, so that should be self-explanatory. Barren Grounds again. Nordic Viper. Meadhall Misstep. Hoof to Helmet. Plague Village. The Berserker. Anyone else who's just joined us, hello, hello. This is the Crossroads Ancient Saga slight review, but box opening, and just go through the order that I recently placed. It's a game that's been created by Danheim, who is the person who's behind the music that is currently playing in the background. I hope it is still playing. I'm just reviewing this. It is not sponsored. Everything has been paid for by myself. So we've got the Berserker, another Blood Eagle, Muspelheim's Moor, Forest Troll, Frostfallen Fate, Muspelheim's Moor, Skorgamore. So for those who do not know, Skorgamores are outlaws. They've done terrible things and they've been banished from where they are kept. They tend to be branded, marked up in some way, shape or form, before being sent out to the wilds to live the rest of their lives. And the only thing they've got left to do in order to survive is, unfortunately, continue that outlaw life. That's why they are left as that way. But we also then have Jormungandr. We've got the Draugr, which is a new card. We've got the lovely Fenrir. Ooh, we've got a Harsh Punishment. We've got the Hermod as well. And then again, the rest of the cards are all gold. Now, I did mention that sometimes the cards can be foiled. I'm not sure if that can happen in all the decks or if that only happens within the booster packs. I think it can happen in every single type of deck, but it is a chance. It's not guaranteed. That's absolutely fine. But now we get to the fun part of looking to open up the booster packs and see what we get inside of these. As I say, I did get 8, but unfortunately it just looks like the printing of them to put the imagery on the packs didn't take so well, as they are pretty battered and destroyed. This could be just that they printed them quickly and stuck them together, and then as they've loosened in the box over from shipping from the US over into the UK, it's all just come loose a bit. But we do have 8 of these to get through. Let's just bring the camera down. Focus, focus. There you go. So, I hope everyone is okay and everything is still good, everything's sounding good and no issues, I will just make sure everything still says that the stream is currently running, so I am more than happy with that. But yeah, I hope everything is good, and if everyone's ready, we will move on to opening up the booster packs. Let's move the mouse back out of the way. And let's see if these are easier to open than some boosters. I know that some booster packs can be awkward, but there is a little tear mark at the top here, so I'm hoping that's a tear here to open. It is. I do believe so, yes. Like you say, it's the way that they've put the foil on. Yes, it's only one-sided, but that saves on printing costs, which again, everyone needs to do these days. But in my mind, you know, when I ordered these, I do know that they had a big rush on for something else. So, you know, there's a chance that they just were rushing to get everything printed and didn't spend as much time on it as they would normally do with the cards. But again, I may, depending on how this goes, look to buy more cards anyway myself. So we'll quickly stack these all up and we'll go through them all one by one, just so we get that hit of opening each pack individually. So I'll move those out of the way, just out of shot as well, so we've got nothing else on here to cause any issues. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, yeah. So each booster pack contains 15 booster cards. And there you go. The first card we get, as I said, you get a chance for it to be a shiny, or a foil in this instance. And there it is. Got a foil Nordic Viper. Oh, and straight off the bat, a Mead Hall Misstep. Oh, are we getting them all? Village Pigs. A new card as well. The Village Drunk. Oh, we've got a secondary Mead Hall Misstep. A Hufter Helmet. A Skorgamore. A Blood Eagle. Okay, this is looking really good. Shattered Bonds. Another Skorgamore. Another Jormungandr, but this one's a foil. Really happy with that. A Gungear. And a shiny Hermond. A shiny Loki. Which, I love his ability. For 6 gold, it's a lot to pay out. I know, but hear me out. Now this is where the trick is going to come in. Nope. Hard to read because it's so shiny that the light's going to hit it. But when Loki enters the battlefield, it cannot be captured until your next turn. Meaning if someone wanted to attack it because of this free cost, they couldn't. Now that, on its own, is worth the 6 gold. Not alone the attacks, but just that one ability, just because it then can't be captured. And I love that. And the trickery of Loki. Look at that. Every single one in here has been a shiny. When Trickery of Loki is cast, switch the positions of 2 adjacent cards. No attacks or captures will occur. Which means, if you have cards completely surrounding one card, but it's a higher cost card, and you wanted to swap it with a secondary card where there's space in front of it to be captured, you can move them. And that's fantastic to me. Be more careful with the cards, but we've got 2 spares in foil form, so we'll just move those out to one side, just out of shot. So, very nice indeed. Let's open the next pack. Don't know if we'll be as lucky, but we're almost getting all the cards. I've not made a note of all of them. I should have done, because that would be a much better way to know if I've got all the cards or not. I was going to say, oh, well, maybe the first 2 are going to be foil and the rest are not. But it is what it is. As I say, we'll just see what we get as we come along. If any of you have the cards, please let me know. If not, maybe after this you might consider getting them, even if you just have them as a collection. It is a collector card game, but with a trading element behind it. If there's other people you could trade, there is a Discord where the trading is also possible. People have looked to arrange trades. I know everyone could be around the world, so it can be expensive, but it is possible to do so. Let's take a look and we'll see what we get. So, Plague Village, we'll move up a little bit closer again. Field of Thistles. Oh, we've got a spare Field of Thistles, that's absolutely fine. Village Drunk. A Nordic Viper. Field of Mushrooms. A Blood Eagle. Forest Troll. Oh, another Forest Troll. Skorgamore. Nidhogg. So that's a new card for today as well. And a secondary one in shiny form. We've also got our legendary Bragi. Another Hermod. And Cedar Raven. Now, again, some new cards there, which is always good to see. But I'm thinking what I may do is if people are interested in this and we get a little bit more traction with the game, I might be willing to buy more of the cards myself, to do some more openings to show the variants that you can get with inside, but also maybe do a giveaway, as a nice gesture to try and get the game out to people. Might do a little bit of a giveaway of a deck of cards, a starter deck. You never know. We'll look into it. I'll have a think about it and see if it's something that's within my realm of possibility. I know I'm only doing this as a small stream. It's a very small niche game that not everyone is aware of. But, as an idea, to try and get it out there, we'll have a little think to see what can be done. If someone's really interested, then I don't see why we can't do that. But at least we know the cards arrive in a good, safe condition. So pack number 3, let's have a little look to see what we get. So we've got a Plague Village, Barren Grounds. So far they have all been completely shiny, and I've been told from looking at the GameCrafters website that it's a rare, or it's meant to be a possibility that you'll get foils and non-foils. But that was a Village Pig, Field of Thistles, Village Pigs, Nordic Viper, Muspelheim's Moor, Blood Eagle, Frostfallen Fate, Muspelheim's Moor, Shiny Drauga, a Frenzied Jotun. So that's another new card. Shiny Freya, which is very fitting for Freya. And Boulder. Very nice. And the Temple of Odin. Very nice cards. Let's tell you what, we're going to speed this up a little bit because there's a seal line on here. We will just quickly cut through that. And did that even cut through it? No, my luck, no. Yes, it did. Okay, so we've got a little bit of space underneath that we can also do that with. Just trying to think if we can get this to be a little bit quicker for opening them up. Then we can certainly do so. But let's see what we've got here. So, Village Pigs, Field of Thistles, Village Drunk, Barren Grounds, Village Pigs, Hoof to Helmet, Sindri the Smith, Blood Eagle, another new card, Certus Forge, Shattered Bonds, another new card of Slipnir. So that's all of the children of Loki that are in this game. Surta, Freya, another new card of Njord, and Sida's Raven. Hope everyone is okay and doing well. We've only got 4 more packs to get through, and then that is all of them, and then we'll do a little bit of review of what we've got and everything like that. So, oh, this pack, let's just push that down a little bit more, just so we can get a good cut along that. So we can just get into it. What I'll do actually is just do that for all the rest of the cards. We'll get them all opened quickly, just so we've got, again, we're saving a bit of time and we're not having to do this repeatedly, going back and forth getting the scissors and stuff. Cool. 3 and last one. There we go, that's all of those done. So let's just tidy this up quickly from my desk. And what I'll also do is I'm going to post a link to, let's get this out. I'm going to very quickly post a link to the website of where you can find all the information of the game. That is where you would need to head off to if you are interested in looking at any details about the game. It'd be a fantastic place to start. As I say, it does link you to the shop at the Game Crafter, which is a nice way to be able to find the game. So please do look at that in due course. As I say, contemplating doing a giveaway. If anyone's interested, it might have to be UK based to start with, but I will post that up in Folk Realms if anyone would be interested. But we've got a foil raiding party, a Village Pigs, another raiding party, another Village Pigs, Barren Grounds, another raiding party, another Skorgamore, Methelheim's Moor, Skogamore, Blood Eagle, Nidhogg, another Slipnir, another Bragi, which is cool. We have the Allfather himself, Odin, the most expensive gold cost card that exists. We've got a shiny, well, we've got a foil Odin, and to accompany it, Odin's Temple. Let's look at the next set. Plague Village, Field of Thistles, Plague Village, Hoof to Helmet. Oh, there's a second card right behind it. Barren Grounds, Meadhall Misstep, Frostfallen Fate, Forest Troll, Surtur's Forge, Forest Troll. Just make sure that wasn't the second card behind that. We've got a Fenrir, a Draugr, and another Freyja. Oh, and who's this? Hermond, and a Trickery of Loki. So, I don't think I've got so far all 50 cards, but we'll be very, very close to having all 50 cards. I think there's the odd few that I'm just missing at the moment. Meadhall Misstep, Plague Village, Nordic Viper, the card's sliding off my desk, Raiding Party, Village Drunk, another Nordic Viper, a Berserker, Forest Troll, Surtur's Forge, Sindri the Smith, Jormungandr, Surtur. There we go. Another new card for the day. We have the trusty Thor, which again is a very nice card, all-round attacker. When Thor enters the battlefield, capture up to 2 adjacent non-legendary cards. So as long as there's 2 cards that are non-legendary next to it, we can attack it. Oh, and another new one. Angrboda, the wife of Loki, who gave birth to Hel, Jormungandr, and Fenrir. And we also have Sidio's Raven again. Last pack. I think there is a card that is called Hell, and there's one that we haven't got yet today, so let's see if we get lucky and complete it off. Field of Thistles, Hoof to Helmet, Raiding Party, Hoof to Helmet. That's free. Skorgamor, Sindri the Smith, Berserker, Surtur's Forge, Bog Draugr, a Draugr, another Tyr, and the Boulder, and another Trickery of Loki. So sadly not, we didn't quite get all the cards total, but that is the life of buying cards at the end of the day. You're never guaranteed to get all of the cards in question. But as I say, it is a very nice set of cards that we have got. What we'll do is we're just going to move some bits and pieces out of the way a second, just so we can do a little bit more of a review. As I say, we'll get the board out. We'll do half a board, just because it's a little bit easier to sort of manipulate on my desk. And we'll just grab a handful of cards quickly. That'll do the job. So in regards to the playing of the game, as I mentioned, it is a battlefield. Some cards are ability cards, like the Trickery of Loki, that you can play on your turn as well. But there's no number of times that you can't play ability cards on your turn, as long as you have the gold available to do so in your treasury. And then you also have an attacking card. So Boulder, Tyr, the Draugr, the Berserker, these are the types of cards that you want to have available in your deck, because on your turn you would say, for example, you had your 6 gold, you would play your 6 gold to play Boulder, ignoring its ability for now, and you'd place it anywhere you like on the battlefield out of all of the squares available. As you can see, it's a 4x4 grid. But you would play your card, and you could play it so you always face it towards your opponent. So when if it's your opponent's turn, they would play a card the opposite direction because it's facing towards the person they're attacking. But when you are playing an attack, if you play a card down, it now cannot be attacked from its right hand side, but it still has 3 other directions that it can be played from. And the opponent, if they were to play a card, they could decide, say for example they played Tyr, they would then capture your opponent, capture your card, just because of the attack values when they are side by side. Bring that up. So an 8 always beats a 4. It would be done. Whereas if you were to then play, for an example, the Draugr next to Tyr, because it's 4 on 4, the card would cancel itself out and it could not be attacked. However, if you were to play Draugr right behind it, because its bottom attack is a 5 and Tyr's is only a 4, you would be able to capture that card. But you wouldn't then recapture the card over here. You would only capture the card that you're attacking. Now, if it was surrounded by other cards, so if, say for example, there's enemy cards here and here, we'll use this as an example, and you were to play your Draugr in that empty tile, again neglecting its ability for now, you would be able to capture all 3 cards at once because its attacking point of 5, 4 and 5 are higher than the cards that are currently sat there, and you would capture them all in one go, giving you control of the battlefield. So it is very strategical about how you place your cards, but not only place your cards, but what cards you have in the deck. You need to have some form of consistency and coherence with the deck so that they bounce off each other, not knowing what you're going to come against. Hence the strategy, you don't know what you're going to come against. So you'll have to think, well, what if they have, what if they only play legendary cards? If they only plan to play legendary cards, then they're not going to have a very good deck, in my opinion, because whilst the legendary cards have abilities, so Tyr and Balder and go through and Thor, we'll just grab a couple for now. We've got another one to hand very close at the top somewhere. Hermond and Freya, there we go. We'll just use these for now as a spread. But if they were to only play these, the downside is they have a high cost value. So 6 gold, 5, 6, 5. Oh no, that's another 6. Sorry, and that's the 5. It's a very high cost to play those, and you can only play them once at a turn. So by having some of the cheaper gold cost cards and some of the common, uncommons, rares, you're going to give yourself more of an opportunity to be able to take over the board and play against your opponent. Whereas if you just build it based off the higher the cost, the stronger the card, there are cards in here that allow you to simply remove cards and take it off the battlefield. There's ways around it, and it's one of those where it's a strategical game about building a deck, not just I'm going to go for the most power possible. Trying to think of which card it is. I probably do have one in here, but there are many cards in here that allow you to just instantly remove a card, and without finding it or going through my notes, I wouldn't be able to remember which one it is, unfortunately. But that is a little look at the cards and what I've purchased. As I say, I need to do a check to see if I've got all the cards. I'll need to look to build my own deck, which I will probably consider doing off stream, or I might look to do another stream just on that basis. whereby I would build a deck. Don't know if people would be interested in doing a deck build um, or anything like that. So, but again, I want to look and review what cards I've got. As I say, what I'm going to do, these two starter decks I am going to leave as they are, and I'm going to put them in the case that I have got for them. So I'm going to set up a blue and red deck for that soul ability, and as I say, if I can potentially get a shop to be willing to look into a new game to teach people, then I'm going to look to do so. So these cards in particular are going to go over there because I don't want to alter those and say, well, I got those cards, so I'm going to use them to fill out my numbers. I'm not going to do that at all. What I will do is I'll probably look to put another order in for a few more of those starter decks and a few more booster packs, so we can do another opening to try and complete the box numbers off and fill everything out. But what I'll do is I'll go through my starter deck here with all my lovely foil cards and look to create a deck. But as I say, I'm going to go through all my number, get them in a folder, and then any cards that I've got extra of, if people are interested for trading, we can do a trade. I'll put them in a deck box out of the way so they're kept, but we will also then look into doing extra streams where pack openings, reviews of the cards, try and box off and get all the numbers. I might even create a list to say if I've got foil or non-foil versions, and the idea will be to complete them off. I might do that as just little videos instead of doing it on a stream. Buy a set number of cards, and if all these boosters are going to predominantly be foils, then that might be something to do, is just open the foils in that version, stream trying to complete everything off. We'll figure it out. But again, alternatively, think I might do a giveaway. I will post it up in Folk Realms, see if people would be interested in a giveaway or anything like that. But I think from me, that is everything. I hope everyone enjoyed it. It's a bit of a whirlwind tour of what I've received and a quick glimpse of the game. As I say, if the game was to be online, I would probably stream that an awful lot more to get people interested in the buzz of the game. You could see everything that was going on. But again, you can only do what you can do and what you have available to you. So I will post up in Folk Realms to see what people think, if they have any ideas, or if they want to join in. Just want to say thank you for coming in to join me. Well, it's where one of the places that I discovered the game. I didn't know it was out before that. There is also a Discord, but I don't believe I've installed Discord on this computer deliberately, so I can't post up a link to it. But somewhere on Folk Realms, if you look up my name, Nathan Green, there is a link to the Discord as well. If you're not already there for this, there is also a Facebook page, but steering away from Facebook as much as possible these days because of all the ads and all the negativity, whereas Folk Realms, nice welcoming community for like-minded people. But yeah, if you have any questions or queries about the game, if you've not already got it yourself, please do feel free to ask. Whilst I'm not in any way related to or an owner of it, I've gone through it in a bit more detail, I've looked over it. There's just not much about it online, so as I say, it'd be good to sort of get that back out there, to try and get traction on this game and picking back up. I have spoken with Danheim briefly. He has said that there will be a campaign to sort of drive the game forward again soon. He's got a lot of work on with his upcoming music, Folk Realms itself, a nice safe community itself, and everything like that. So don't know when that's going to be happening. I believe it may be sometime summertime towards the end of the year. But thank you very much. I'm glad you came and enjoyed. Again, I will post up some possible information as to what's coming up next. If anyone would be interested in joining in or coming over themselves. If people would like to have a proper discussion, then if they have Discord, we could use Discord to openly communicate and talk about it. get a few more people in to not necessarily have a one-sided stream, but just a bit of a talk about the game itself, deck building, and all sorts of stuff. I'm more than happy to look to do that. But again, it's just about people's engagement. If people aren't that interested, then, you know, I can call it quits there. We've done what we need to do, and I'll just post any pictures and videos on Instagram, Folk Realms, and things like that, really. So, but I appreciate you all for joining. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day, and I'm not taking up too much of your time. But thank you very much, and enjoy.